Hello, it is another Wednesday and therefore another episode of TGIW. Thank God it is Wednesday. So, uh, last week I proudly proclaimed that new comics are back. And I did so based upon the sheer volume of books I had last week. Boy, was I wrong. New comics are not back in full force, that is. Because this week is incredibly light. There are no DC books because of the handoff between Diamond and their new distributor, and there's no new Marvel books because this is Marvel's trades week. So, what did I pick up for New Comic Book Day when there's no Marvel and no DC? I got one book. This is unprecedented. Aside from when there was literally no comics, there being a New Comic Day where there are comics and I only have one book this is bizarro world to me. I'm used to a stack. So this is strange, but this is the only thing that came out new for me this week. Star Trek Year 5, Issue 12. I'm going to read it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to savor it. However, I also did pick up the free comic book day Firepower came out today as well. And because there was no free comic book day, they are releasing some of the comics that would have been available for free comic book day over time. So I saw this was there. Firepower. I have no idea what it's about. I gave it a quick flip through, and it looks like this is not something new. It's been around, so it's new to me. But we'll give that a look as well. That's it. New Comic Day. No fun little extra bits or whatnot. I thought about maybe I can find a trade or something, or see if they have a trade that I can pick up when I pick up my stuff. But I decided against it. Maybe just give the wallet a break. And the good thing about having such a light week is that it does allow me to do a little bit more of my backstock of getting caught up on stuff. So it's not a bad thing. It's just weird. So if we review from last week, again, this was my last week. That is a healthy week. Stars aligned and a bunch of stuff came out that I picked up to lead me to believe that we were kind of back in the flow of things. I was incorrect. But there's a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. Spectacular SpiderHam, or Peter Porker's Spectacular SpiderHam was super fun. This wrapped up nicely. And TMNT again. I've been a Turtles fan since my introduction was the cartoon. I was a little too young to jump onto the first volume of comics, but I've been a fan of them since. And this book is so good. The Janika miniseries has also been really good. So I've been loving that. Immortal Hulk. This was so good. It was all about the leader and his background. Now I don't know how much of this is actually previously happened, or it's retconning or explaining. I'm not familiar enough with the leader to know his full history of he became the leader, and then he was no longer the leader, and then he was the leader again, and he was no longer the leader, and all this. I don't know that, but that's what this goes over. Is that what actually happened? I guess it doesn't really matter because this book says that is what happened. But basically, it was just a leader introduction where it ends off with, okay, you know who the leader is, enter the leader. But as everything has been in this series, it is fantastic. Second to last issue of Jimmy Olsen. Super great. Things starting to wrap up. I'm really excited to read. I'm excited and sad to read the last issue of that. Excited to see how it all gets tied up, but also sad that there's not going to be any more Jimmy Olsen. It's so good. Thor. Yeah, this is one of my favorite Thor runs. I'm not a huge Thor fan. It takes something really special for me to get into Thor. Pretty good reveal at the end of this, with just the story in general that's going on. It's not really about Thor, it's more about Galactus. But man, so good. So good. So Batman 93. So this is kind of tying up this I don't know what we call it, prequel, but this lead up to the Joker War, this talk about the designer, where we find out more about the designer's plan, or the plan that he had in the past with these other villains and what's going on with it now. But it's, the Joker War is coming soon. Avengers Empire. I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to what this Empire is about. Series is about. I don't read Avengers. I'm assuming that there's been hints to it in that. But this was a good way to kind of get some information on it, and it was a good read. Aquaman 59 and 60. This was really, really good. I always love when Orm shows up, Ocean Master. I think he's a great villain. They have a very complicated relationship, Aquaman and Ocean Master being half brothers. This issue 60 in particular was really good. It's like Orma's like, listen, I'm not really bad anymore. Like, I've got a kid now. I understand, protecting and all this stuff. I'm trying to be good, and you believe him, as he is telling the truth, but his way of being, I want to say this, he's not lying, but his idea of being good and doing something good and protecting someone is not probably what Aquaman's idea is. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like Doctor Doom, right? Doctor Doom doesn't think he's a villain. He thinks he's a hero. It's like, yeah, if I take over the world, it will be a better place. I'm the good guy. It's like, you're not lying because you believe what you're saying. You're just not right. So it's pretty good. Let's see. Let's put these two together. Ironman 2020 number 4 and Rescue number 2. And I put up with the run of Iron Man leading up to this. It went on for way too long. It got really drawn out. I didn't care for it, but I put up with it to get to this, and it was worth it because this is awesome. Justice League Dark, super, super good. Whenever you start bringing in the Rot and Abigail and Anton Arcane, obviously Swamp Thing's gonna come up with that. It's a good time. The Constantine and Swamp Thing are the main reasons I get Justice League Dark. Other than it is a legitimately a good book, but that's why I really started getting into it, because I love those characters, and this series doesn't disappoint. These Marvel snapshots, if you are not reading these, oh my gosh, get on it. They are so good. This is the story of a sort of a down and out kid from the ghetto, who doesn't really have a shot. He's really smart, So AIM comes along and is like, "Hey, you're a smart kid. We'll give you a chance." And he's like, "Aren't you a bunch of terrorists? Aren't you bad guys?" And he's like, "Hey, we have many divisions. One of our divisions is weapons, but I mean, so is the government. Like, a bunch of tech companies have weapons divisions or whatever." So he joins AIM and gets caught up in stuff, and it's for Captain America because he's not in it very much, but it is definitely a Captain America. It's very nicely bookended by Captain America. I'd say, but these have been so fun. Aquaman 100-page giant. I read some of it. I mean, it's reprints, so the things that I know that I'd read already, I didn't read. The things that I hadn't read, I read. So I mean, it was good Aquaman stories. Then let's see, Batman the Smile Killer. This is such an interesting take on Batman, Bruce Wayne particularly, and his concept of the Joker. Again, it doesn't take place in normal the DC universe. It's a little bit weird, a little bit different, but it is fun. And The Question. This has been so great. This is also Lemire. It was Lemire, right? Yeah, so Lemire's take on The Question has been great. It's kind of getting these flashbacks of older versions of The Question, kind of leading up to the current version, Vic Sage. So we're kind of getting a history lesson of the ongoing character of The Question. It's been really good. Let's see. Oh, and I had a smaller stack for older stuff. I read the next 4 issues of Booster Gold in the run I'm going through, and the next 4 issues of Blue Beetle. So I got through those. All right. So for this week, again, as far as new stuff is concerned, going to read the 2 things I picked up today, and I'm going to try to finish off Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. So I have issues 13 through 24 of Blue Beetle and 17 through 25 of Booster Gold. It's 21 issues. And they're not quick reads. They're good reads, but they're not quick reads. So I'm going to try to get through all of those just to knock it out, since I've been afforded the luxury of a light new week. I do want to say some things, and I know that I've mentioned it before with Booster Gold. I can't stress enough, if there is a way for you to read this, read this. It is so good. I expected to have fun with it, knowing what I knew about Booster Gold. I did not expect it to be so genuinely great of a read. So please read this if you can. Even in these little 4 issues, there were some really kind of big moments where, like, Booster kind of learns about or gets is faced with the consequences of his actions, of how he stole a bunch of tech and then just blipped off to the past. There were consequences to the future, to his present time, as he does visit back into the future in a couple of these issues, and he sees the world. Not the entire world is not that big of a deal, but his little world of his family and stuff, of the consequences of his actions. He deals with other consequences as well. So he originally was holed up in this. His headquarters was in this public building, which ends up getting destroyed because, of course, you're a superhero. Your headquarters are well known, and it's just an office building. Yeah, it's gonna get blown up, and obviously there are consequences to that because it is a public building in a public space. So he does some reflecting on that, and the thing that is so great about Booster Gold, which I don't think is emphasized in his more modern appearances, is that more than anything, he does want to do the right thing and be a hero. It is not about the money. The money is important and a benefit, but his main drive is being a hero. And he isn't the best one, but he's always trying and he's always learning and trying to become a better one. So good. This might be one of my favorite DC runs. There, I said it. I'd have to think about where it lands in there. I guess if you don't count Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, because technically that's Vertigo. I always said that's my favorite DC run, but I don't know. This is, as far as DC runs go, this is, God, it's so good. It's so good. Do yourself the favor. And Blue Beetle is really, really good too. I would suggest reading that, but definitely Booster Gold. And I said it last time, this is where DC really shines for me. We get real sort of human stories in these sort of B, C, D-list characters, which Booster Gold definitely is one of those. But that's it. Let me know how you did this week. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. And we will see you here soon. Later. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.